Hi, my name is Ehsan. I'm a final year medical student in Canada, and today I'm going to give you a quick overview of all the resources I use for the MCAT in less than 5 minutes because they're very key resources. But before we get there, I want to note, I did not take any of these prerequisites, organic chemistry, biochemistry, or any psychology. So you can do it, and you can do it well even if you haven't taken this course. So let's get to it. Number one, the MCAT subreddit. It's a fantastic area to learn everything you need for the MCAT. In fact, if I were to only give one resource, that's the resource I would give. So basically, go on the subreddit. If you've never used Reddit, just go to the link in the description and then go on the panel on the right and you'll see a lot of resources on how to do well on the MCAT study plan, flashcards, Anki cards, all of that good stuff. So that's a very key resource. And there's memes, lots of them, and they're fun. Lots of shared misery, so look out for that. That's perfect. So for content review, what did I use? I used the Kaplan MCAT books. I also used the Princeton science workbook. I also used the CARS verbal reasoning book. I also used the Examkrackers verbal reasoning book. These are the older ones, not the actual CARS ones. The older ones, because I found the quality of those to be better. I also used Khan Academy for the psychology section only. If you go on that subreddit, again, there's an Anki deck, which is amazing for psychology. I think it was Pre-Med 95 or something. That's what it was called. Link will be in the description anyways, but that might be outdated, so watch out for that. Now for organic chemistry, I didn't do any of the courses. I didn't know how to study for this. So what I used was a book known as David Klein's Organic Chemistry as a Second Language. It's a fantastic introduction to organic chemistry, and then building off of that, I went into Kaplan and I was able to read Kaplan and it made sense for the most part. It's a bit difficult, but for the most part. And for psychology, the Khan Academy videos are perfect, and biochemistry, I think the Kaplan books are good enough for you to get a good score. Two pieces of content that you might have not heard of is the lab techniques as well as the unit conversions. So what I want to say is, if you go on the subreddit again, but I'll also put a link in the description, there is a document that has all the lab techniques that you need to know, because for whatever reason, they like testing lab techniques in the test. So make sure you learn that. Also, unit conversions, fantastic to know, because on the test, you don't want to be memorizing formulas. Unit conversions are much easier. So writing them down when you start the exam is a fantastic go-to. So that's all the things I use for my content review. In terms of practice questions, what did I use? So again, it was the verbal reasoning and stuff, verbal reasoning from Examkrackers for CARS, the Princeton workbook for science general stuff, the Princeton CARS book for doing the actual CARS. And then the most important resource I used was, of course, UWorld. At the time, it was free. There was free trials. I know it's very expensive, but it's a fantastic resource for getting a great MCAT score. So definitely use that if it's within your budget. If it's not, you can always use the Princeton workbook. And then, of course, for full-length exams, I used the Kaplan full-length examinations, and those came free with the books that I purchased. There's also the Princeton ones that you can use. There's lots of ones. Just pick one and do them for your full lengths. And that's what I basically used for the month where I was doing practice questions and things like that. And then in my last month, I of course used the AAMC official material. At the time, there was a package you could buy that gives you all the material. So when you purchased it, you would get all the full-length tests that they had at the time, section banks, and the question banks. So in your last month, and if you go to my video on my study plan, this is what I used. It was all the full lengths examinations that came with the package, all the section banks, and all the question banks. And for CARS, the question banks are extremely important because they're so close to the actual test. So that's all the content. That's everything I used in less than 5 minutes. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.